I love Batman, as does everyone with a brain. You love Batman, the Joker loves Batman, everybody loves Batman. He's Batman. DC certainly love him, because he is like the world's biggest superhero franchise, pulling in all kinds of money. We're talking Krusty the Clown levels of merchandising here. But movies and cartoons and games and novels and jigsaw puzzles and key rings and other items, Batman's bringing in mad cabbage, yo. Of course, this expansion into multimedia phenomenon has led to the in-universe expansion of the character's supporting cast, and in recent years, it's reaching Comedy Central levels of utter balloon shit. I recently had a small conversation with some unwashed peasant on YouTube. Batman is a beloved badass character loved particularly by millions of men, so of course it needs to be deconstructed by some virtue signalling limp dick. It inspired me to make this video, partly because to me, someone who does not like Batman but likes his supporting cast, and particularly Robin, is frankly a disgrace, not only to men but to humanity in general. First things first, regarding the Robins of the world, Batman is the Dark Knight. He is not the Dark Adoption Centre manager. Why does he need a gaggle of teenage boys running around his dark, mostly empty mansion, far away from the eyes of the police and other concerned adults? Is it really a good idea for a mentally unstable billionaire who is prone to violent outbursts and dressing up like a human sex toy to have access to equally unstable children? I can accept, if you will, the idea of Bruce Wayne adopting some struggling kids, but purely in the sense of trying to do some good for the city, not dressing them up like freak shows and sending them out to fight murderers. A genius level intellect would not do such a thing. I mean, for God's sake, Lenny from Mice and Men wouldn't do that. And he's an idiot. As far as Batman himself goes, Bruce Wayne is actually quite a unique character. After his parents are killed, shortly afterwards he makes the vow to fight crime, as any normal child would do. However, unlike every other person on the planet, Bruce Wayne has the correct combination of factors that makes Batman plausible within his universe. It's not just that he's from Gotham, the corrupt, violent city. He's known about this world his whole life. He has the motivation of the fear and the rage and the powerlessness he felt when he watched his parents die. This motivation will also power him through the years of training and learning all the various skills he will need to become a detective and a vigilante without the use of superpowers. He also has the money, the proper old money, super billionaire level money, born into that kind of wealth to allow him to do these things, as well as build the variety of bat-themed vehicles and equipment that he will need to use. He has to also overcome his fear of bats, which ties into overcoming his own fears and turning that fear on those that prey on the fearful, rather than simply being a generic vigilante with a mask. The first time he goes out onto the streets in Batman Begins underlines that point quite skillfully, I thought. He also lives in Wayne Manor, which is a series of caverns underneath it and is outside the city centre, which gives him a good base of operations. This whole combination of factors is what makes Batman work in his universe. It simply cannot be replicated by another person. My thesis, if you will, is if anyone can simply put on a stupid outfit and start punching criminals in Gotham, then what makes Batman special? Why does he even exist in the first place? Does it not devalue the entire foundation of the character? If there are like 20 Robins all running around in those disgusting costumes, there are Batgirls, there are Batwomen, there are other affiliated sidekicks, copycats, hired hands, and all sorts of other nonsense ass garbage. If Gotham was that bad really, surely the Justice League would just come in and smash the place up. Or I suppose the US government would send in the army who would start shooting down as many helicopters as they can find in a frenzy of battle. Just like in Iraq, those famous Iraqi helicopters, If you scale up the heroes, you automatically have to scale up the villains to remain viable. I know DC has always preferred the massively overpowered heroes idea compared to Marvel's underdog style, but there always has to be the threat that the bad guys can win, and I personally think that Batman having an army of goons just makes him a warlord with a cool outfit and not a detective or a vigilante. All the unique elements in Bruce Wayne's past are what add up to make him Batman, and Batman is interesting and special. It is why he can hold his own in the Justice League, surrounded by godlike aliens and Amazonians and plastic people and that fish guy, all the dudes who can fight alien armies and giant monsters. He can fight off handfuls of enemies in close combat because he's had years of intense training and he uses top-notch equipment that he himself pays for and most likely designs. Some of the Robins haven't even been alive as long as Batman has been training. Plus, hello, Batman's costume kinda makes it easy to hide at night since bats are nocturnal and whatnot. Bright yellows, reds and greens and so on just make you look like a giant salad. And don't even get me started on the idea of Batman and Catwoman actually having a sexual relationship. Ew. Talk about completely ruining the whole concept of the relationship. But that would require another video. For now, let me explain what I believe to be the proper setup for any Bat family. First, Alfred, because he is the one that humanises Bruce, not Robin, Alfred. He is there to offer moral and emotional support to his friend and to help with the playboy billionaire facade, doing all the Batcave stuff and preparing tea because he's quite English. Second, Oracle. Oracle is a great character. She's very useful in this particular setup because she's very believable. I think Batman would need in the field intelligence and on the spot detective support that he wouldn't have time to access for himself, and it's helpful to have another brain in the team, so to speak. She is his link to other agencies and individuals, as well as being able to give Batman any info he requires when he is too busy breaking spines to research it himself. Next, Jim Gordon, because obviously having a high-ranking link to the Gotham police force would be a helpful thing for any kind of detective/vigilante who also kind of is technically a criminal himself, so having a friend in the police is a good idea just to keep them on board and also to give them access to various criminal things that they may need to know. Next, Lucius Fox or equivalent. This is important because Wayne Enterprises is a massive conglomerate and needs someone that Bruce Wayne can trust to run it efficiently, as well as provide help with new technology. Also, having a black guy on the crew would also play well because having a bunch of rich white people go about punching people and breaking the law probably isn't going to look that great. The Dark Knight trilogy, I think, showed perfectly well why this particular type of character would be a great help to Batman. Next, Superman. Yeah, that's right. Having the old red, yellow and blue on the team would be useful for the rare occasion that Batman finds himself dealing with problems in the field that he simply can't defeat on his own, like, I don't know, 3 Banes, for example. But able to bring in the big hammer would be quite useful. And, that's it. That's fucking it. The thing is, comic book fans in particular are used to overblown, repetitive, silly-ass nonsense. Huge armies, people dying and coming back to life every 2 minutes, people punching planets, time-travelling zombies, body swaps, all kinds of embarrassing nonsense. In other proper media, films in particular, characters have to fill a niche. They have to have their own spot in the story. There's a reason why all the good Batman films do not have a Robin, and all the bad ones do have a Robin. And it's not just because Robin is super lame, and anyone who likes him clearly has sexual attachments to plumbing equipment. He's a vigilante. He is not a buddy cop movie. This is not Hawaii Five-0. To me, Batman is most enjoyable as a character when he is at his most believable. Not real life believable before pedantic baby dick having throbbers complain, but plausible within his universe, fighting weird and unusual but ultimately normal men and women, doing detective stuff and occasionally mixing it up with the Banes of the world, not becoming the budget version of the Avengers, fighting hordes of goblins and evil robots, not having 50 people out there doing the same job and sometimes incredibly in the same outfit, because when Batman has to do insane, unbelievable things in service to the story, that's when people start talking about the Bat God and the prep time and all that bullshit that completely demeans the character. If you have to completely shit all over reality to make the story, you should probably just keep it to fan fiction or Warner Brothers scriptwriters. The real worst thing about all these tertiary characters attached to Batman is that it's obvious that so many of them are just cheap knockoffs by design. You know, they'll only take parts of his background. One of them is rich, another one lost their parents, Another one is trained by the League of Shadows or whatever. It's fucking nonsense, bruh. Nonsense!